John 12:1-8. 6 days before the Passover festival, Jesus went to Bethany. That is where Lazarus lived, the man Jesus raised from death. There they had a dinner for Jesus. Martha served food, and Lazarus was one of the people eating with Jesus. Mary brought in a pint of expensive perfume made of pure nard. She poured the perfume on Jesus' feet. Then she wiped his feet with her hair, and the sweet smell from the perfume filled the whole house. Judas Iscariot, one of Jesus' followers, was there, the one who would later hand Jesus over to his enemies. Judas said, "That perfume was worth a full year's pay. It should have been sold, and the money should have been given to the poor people." But Judas did not really care about the poor. He said this because he was a thief. He was the one who kept the money bag for the group of followers, and he often stole money from the bag. Jesus answered, "Don't stop her. It was right for her to save this perfume for today, the day for me to be prepared for burial. You will always have those who are poor with you, but you will not always have me."
Sister Beth, one of Jesus' disciples, used to attend Freedom Fellowship, where my wife Annette and I attend. Her name was Beth. She died several years ago from cancer, but is fondly remembered at that small congregation. She had been a drug addict for much of her life, but had decided to commit herself to the Lord and be baptized. Beth would dance before the Lord during our song service. When you watch Beth dance, you could almost see her partner, Jesus, with a big smile on his face. Since Freedom Fellowship is a satellite church for our larger church, we attend Freedom on Wednesday nights and the big church on Sundays. On a Sunday morning at the big church, Beth was so caught up in worship that she began dancing in the aisle. Most of us who attended the small church on Wednesdays were surprised, but we knew Beth, her heart, and who she was dancing with. Others did not. Many eyes suddenly were riveted in her direction, some approving, many not. You could almost read minds that day. We may allow raising of hands, but dancing?
Jesus, too, loves our expressions of love, whether they are in worship or expressed by what we do for others, even when they may sometimes seem impractical. Mary must have been some lady. Her brother and sister did what most men and women did in that culture. Lazarus sits at the table and eats, and Martha serves the meal. But Mary comes in with expensive perfume and anoints Jesus, not his head, mind you, but his feet. Luke records another incident with Mary and Martha in Luke 10:38-42.
While Jesus and his followers were traveling, Jesus went into a town. A woman named Martha let Jesus stay at her house. Martha had a sister named Mary who was sitting at Jesus' feet and listening to him teach. But Martha was busy with all the work to be done. She went in and said, "Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me alone to do all the work? Tell her to help me." But the Lord answered her, "Martha, Martha, you are worried and upset about many things. Only one thing is important. Mary has chosen the better thing, and it will never be taken away from her."
Mary wasn't practical. She poured a year's wages on feet. She wasn't the type to take a hint. She didn't pay any attention to her sister's dirty looks coming from the kitchen about needing Mary's help, but she sure knew what was necessary. Think of listening at the feet of Jesus, to his words, watching his mannerisms, hearing his voice, seeing the expressions on his face. Mary knew what was best, and she didn't listen to her sister, the bad-mouthing of Judas, or the raised eyebrows of the people around her. And Jesus wasn't ashamed. He sat there and let Mary express her love and worship. Here's a question. If you had to describe yourself as a Mary or a Martha, which would you be?